We tested 20 bikes priced between £2,800 and £3,650 with 120 to 150 mil of rear wheel travel in the 2019 Trail Bike of the Year test. One of those bikes was the Canyon Spectral CF 8.0, priced at £3,199. The Canyon Spectral has good form in Trail Bike of the Year, having won it a couple of years ago. Late in 2017, they released an entirely new frame set for the Spectral. However, for this year, they've actually updated that yet again with longer forks and longer shocks, giving 10mm more travel front and rear. This means that their trail bike gets 150mm of travel at the back and a 160mm fork. The other change they've done to this new platform is reduce the tyre size. Previously, the bikes would come with 2.6-inch tyres across the range, save for one model, but they now all come with 2.4, and we think that this is a good shout. Canyon do many things very well, and on the Spectral there's three things that stand out in particular. First off is the frame set, then there's the value, as we'd expect from Canyon, and third is that rear suspension, which is some of the best in the entire test. This version of the Spectral gets a carbon front triangle mated to an alloy rear triangle to keep the price and the weight relatively nicely balanced. There are a number of nice details on this carbon front alloy rear frame. For example, the rear axle doesn't need a tool to remove it. However, there's a little lever hidden within the axle which pops out, flips down and turns around so you can get the axle in and out nice and easily. There's also an integrated seat clamp which looks nice and smooth, and finally there's a down tube protector the length of the down tube, and this encloses the cables so you don't have the maintenance issues of internal cable routing, but you still have that clean, smooth look as well. The 150mm of travel is controlled by a Fox Float Performance Elite DPX2 shock, so you get some good piggyback goodness in there, and up front there's a Fox Performance Elite 36 fork with 160mm of travel. It comes with a Shimano XT drivetrain with an 11 to 46 tooth cassette, and there's a pair of DT Swiss M1700 spline wheels with a pair of Maxxis tyres on there. This means you get Minion DHR2 tyres front and rear in a 2.4-inch width. Shimano supply the 4-pot XT brakes, and you get a 200mm rotor at the front and 180 at the back. There's, generally speaking, Canyon's own finishing kit on the bike, so that's the G5 stem and bar. You get a Fox transfer drop post with 150mm of drop, and you get an SDG radar saddle. Completed, this size large bike comes in at just under 14 kilos. The headline geometry figures are pretty standard for a trail bike. The size large has a 460mm reach with 430mm chainstays. There's a 66-degree head angle and a 74.5-degree seat angle. All in all, it's pretty good value for money then, especially considering a carbon front end, a decent Fox 36 and a good pair of wheels and drivetrain. Within Trail Bike of the Year we tested 20 bikes, and it's probably fair to say that the back end on the Spectral was possibly the best in the entire test, certainly top 2 or 3 at least. And it definitely conforms to all those cliches that you keep hearing as bike testers bang on about. Its early stroke is super supple, so there's plenty of small bump sensitivity and lots of traction on loose climbs. In the mid stroke, there is loads of support. That means that when you're pushing down on the pedals through berms and into the lips of jumps, the bike doesn't wallow deep into its stroke. And it also means that over repeated hits, the bike stays nice and composed and doesn't go right to the end of its travel as well. When you do hit those bigger hits, whether it's a big drop or you're stacking a jump, there is tons of control towards the end of the stroke. The progression is really good. It's not so sharp that it blows your feet off the pedals, nor is it too linear that you sort of bang off the end of the travel. Overall, Canyon done a brilliant job with the back end on this bike. And that makes the bike go really fast on a wide range of terrain. If you take the back end and the kit, you'd think that this bike was going to win Trail Bike of the Year by a country mile. Unfortunately, there's two facets of its geometry that did hold it back, namely the seat tube length and the head tube length. Some will argue that a bike that has such good rear suspension that encourages you to go so fast and has quite burly kit would definitely benefit from a longer reach than the 460mm on offer from a size large, and I would to some extent agree with this. I'm 6 foot tall, so I could in theory jump on the extra large, which has a reach of 482mm. Now this would give me plenty of space on the bike and extra high speed stability. However, the bike has a 470mm long seat tube in a size large, and with the 150mm dropper post, I had to slam the seat post in the frame to be able to pedal it at its full extension. And this isn't ideal. What it also means is that riders shorter than me may have to go down to a size medium, which might not give them the length they want, despite normally fitting on a size large. So we feel if Canyon could lop, I don't know, 20-30mm off the seat post, this would help massively in this regard. The other issue we had was with the head tube. On a size large, it's 147mm long, which is pretty long. Add this into the extra 10mm travel up front and you end up with bars that are actually quite high. On flatter tracks, this pushes your weight further back, which makes it harder to maintain front end traction. It is a benefit on steep tracks though, because it keeps that weight in a nice position, but we feel that there is a compromise there, and we think possibly Canyon have gone a little bit too far with the length of that head tube. The differences in head tube length between the sizes is also quite considerable. Much like my complaints with having narrow bars whereby you can't make them wider, you can't make a tall head tube shorter. If you had a shorter head tube and you wanted a higher bar, put some spacers in or a higher rise bar, and you just can't do that with the Canyon. All this meant was that some of our smaller testers who might have liked to ride a large just couldn't really get on with the shape of the bike. In essence, Canyon have made an incredible bike. The suspension is great, the parts package is really good, save for that seat tube and that head tube. Now, if you've got longer legs and a shorter torso, then the seat tube won't be an issue for you. And if you like a higher rise bar, or if you like just riding steep stuff, again, it won't be an issue for you. Just make sure that it's going to suit what you want out of a bike. Despite Canyon being mail order only, they do run plenty of demos around the country. So if you are looking to get one and aren't quite sure about the shape of the bike, get yourself along to a demo and have a go. If the geometry works for you, Canyon have created an incredible bike. The rear suspension is one of the best on the market, it's agile to ride, it's fun, and it's incredibly capable on a wide range of terrain. And this makes it one of the best aggressive trail bikes out there. And if it works for you, we probably wouldn't look much further than the Canyon Spectral. So, have the changes that Canyon made to the Spectral this year made it better or worse for where you ride? Let us know in the comments, and in the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe.